Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. As of today, it is 5:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September the 10th, 2025. And we have learned that Charlie Kirk, Christian conservative speaker and creator of Turning Point USA, has been shot and has succumbed to those wounds and has died at the Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. This is a tragic event right now. It is now breaking. So I just wanted to bring you guys the news. We're going to go through some of this. I'm not going to show anything in particular that would be upsetting. So we're going to just take a look at this, and we're going to start it off over here on ground news. As you can see, conservative activist Charlie Kirk, 31, dies after being shot at Utah event, Trump says. Charlie Kirk, conservative commentator and head of Turning Point USA, was shot and killed during a speech at Utah Valley University on September the 10th. As of this recording, that is the date. President Donald Trump reported Kirk's death and praised him as a close ally who helped turn out young voters. This is all very true. Some of you probably know who Charlie is. And, of course, the news is breaking all across the internet. It is a traffic jam across many of the different outlets. And hopefully I should be able to record and show some video. Typically what happens is the browsers will not show video from certain agencies or news outlets if it's directly from their site. So we're going to start off from CNN. Charlie Kirk, a prominent conservative activist and Trump ally, dies after shooting at Utah campus event. Charlie Kirk, a conservative political activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, was killed Wednesday after being shot at an event at Utah Valley University. President Donald Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform. He was 31. As Trump remade the Republican Party, Kirk embodied the party's newfound populist conservatism in the social media age. Trump has credited Kirk with galvanizing and mobilizing the youth vote for him. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie, the president wrote. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. And he is absolutely right. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, when I was on TikTok battling a bunch of community warnings that I all won on appeal, this was, I saw a few videos of them mocking Charlie and all the memes about Charlie, of course, and that is that, you know, him being MAGA and occultist and all these sorts of things, which exemplifies the argument that this continued rhetoric that we hear about Donald Trump every day, orange man bad, orange man this, orange man that, MAGA this, MAGA that, his supporters this, his supporters that, is what leads to these events. And it is absolutely ridiculous. And I'll wax on this a little bit more here. As you see, breaking, Kirk shot dead, manhunt for assassin underway. So they're actually looking for him now. They don't have the perpetrator just yet. And so, as I said, this is all breaking right now. We just learned, like, within the last 40 minutes, I think it was, that he had actually died. So, as we see here from Fox News, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA founder, dead at 31 after Utah campus shooting. Conservative activist and Turning Point USA founder, as you guys know, was scheduled to appear as part of American Comeback Tour. And that's what he was kicking off. I think it was today. And not only that, but the fact that he does these engagements, he's very popular even among Democrats and people on the left. They may not agree with him, but they like him as a person. Many people did and do. And let's take a listen to what Fox had to say just for a few minutes.
Yeah, and today was actually the start of his American Comeback Tour. He was kicking that off today at Utah Valley University, and he's become famous online for when he does these. These are when he sets those tables up and has his Prove Me Wrong table. We've seen Charlie Kirk be so willing to debate anybody, anywhere, anytime in a common professional manner and talk about any topics that sometimes are a little uncomfortable for people. So he was kicking that off at Utah Valley University today. We've got Jason Chaffetz on the phone. Jason, we were reading some of your social media posts. You were there, you witnessed this. What happened?
Well, it's a good crowd. A lot of people were chanting his name. I was there. My daughter was there. Son-in-law's there. My wife was there. I mean, Charlie Kirk coming to town. We were excited, and people were there, and there were lots of them. And you know, he came out. He was throwing hats, riling up the crowd. He took his first question, which was, I have to catch my breath trying to run into the house
Take
here.
your time.
You know, he took a first question, which was a religious question. And then he got to the second question, which was about 30 minutes into his presentation, 2:30 local time.
Okay, so I'll show you some of that here momentarily, which led up to that. And so across the spectrum here on X, it's so challenging sometimes to find information, because right now with this happening, this is massive, at least for fellow conservatives and those who support Trump and others, and maybe even for the left. I don't anticipate seeing a lot from the left in some celebratory manner. But what I have to say here, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys already know, as we've covered here on the BuzWeaver channel for quite some time, and that is this continued rhetoric about Donald Trump and his supporters and MAGA stirs this up, right? It incites this type of activity. And we could go back to Pennsylvania, we could go back to Butler and see the same thing, where Donald Trump was succeeding, he was continuing to succeed, and he was doing well. And, of course, we know what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. And, of course, we know the response from the left. And, of course, the media continues with their rhetoric. The media continues with this rhetoric. We just saw this week, where they were trying to use this birthday card that was sent to Epstein, and it was authenticated by 3 different, signature experts that it was not Donald Trump's signature on the actual card or the check that was supposedly written to him for whatever purposes. It was several $1,000s, something like that. But this is the gin up, right? We talked about how the fact is that the left is rebranding everything with Epstein, because we know for the last 8 years, the establishment has done everything they could to destroy Donald Trump and the people that associate with Trump. And we saw that here even on X when it was Twitter, because people would be shut down. They would be kicked off Twitter. And even the president himself was removed off Twitter, because the left, when they take over, you either do things their way or you're canceled, or worse. In this case with Charlie, the worst. And so here are 2 of the top leftists here, or I should say Trump detractors here. Brooklyn Dad, defiant, whoever shot Charlie should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and the Republican Party has to stop opposing common sense gun reform, especially assault rifles. How about we get the media and the left and the Democrats to stop demonizing Donald Trump 24/7 and inciting the left? And as we say here on the BuzWeaver channel, the reason the Democrats are defying Donald Trump in so many ways, either through lawfare or when we see the governors and mayors of these cities come out, it isn't so much because they aren't part of the political system. It is because they don't want their constituents turning on them. They don't want those rioters. They don't want those activists. They don't want essentially some of the criminals or maybe the illegal aliens turning on them. And then Joe, another huge Trump detractor. I don't agree with anything Charlie Kirk says, but I will never, ever condone political motivated violence of any kind. Yet her and Brooklyn Dad spend their entire day here on X complaining about Donald Trump and how he's the worst thing that's ever happened in the universe. And this is what we hear from the media. And I'm putting it lightly. I am putting it very lightly. The things that I see every day here, and Stephen King is another person. I see this every single day here on X, going after Donald Trump, going after supporters every single day. What do you think that's going to do to people on the left in their mindsets? What do you think that's going to make people think about? How the left already feels already, right? How they're on edge and they say they feel threatened, and many of them want to leave the country. And yet the media continues to stoke this fire and stir the pot. And it's absolutely disgusting. Another main huge detractor of Donald Trump would be Brian Krasenstein. Breaking. This was Charlie Kirk's last interaction with the audience before being shot in the neck in Utah. Audience member: do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Kirk: too many. The same audience member went on to say the number is 5 and proceeded to ask Kirk if Kirk knows how many mass shooters there have been in America over the past 10 years. Kirk: counting or not counting gang violence? The answer is 5,700. So the point here was that a defense of transgenders, because we have seen the last two school shootings, the one most recently, and then the Catholic school there in Texas was from transgender individuals. And of course, we already saw the media coming to the defense of transgenders. Now, of course, the point being here is that everyone recognizes that someone committed a crime, just like we saw with the Ukrainian girl, which we just covered yesterday here on the channel. And it's extraordinary, is it not? Now, I am going to play the lead up. This is not going to show anything violent. This is not going to show anything disturbing, but this was the lead up right before it happened.
Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay. Now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
And then the shots were fired. But I don't know where it came from, because when you look at the image here, I mean, there's a lot of people around this area, and he's got security. He has his personal protection. And, of course, he's in the open. This is a public event. This is at a university, right? A gun-free zone. And so another point, law-abiding citizens typically abide by the law, so they would not necessarily be carrying anything with them, probably out of respect for the property and the college and that sort of thing like that. But in this instance here, of course, his security detail may be armed. I don't know. But you can see that he's got to at least have some level of interaction with the audience. So you see he's got people in front of him. He's got people behind him. And again, this is just breaking, so we don't know a lot of the details as to how this happened or what led up to it. And here's Charlie here. There was a post from 5 hours ago. I think this is him. His just a post here for some kickoff that he's doing here. And then, of course, he has this post here from 4 hours ago. If you want things to change, it's 100% necessary to politicize the senseless murder of Irina Zarakuska, because it was politics that allowed a savage monster with 14 priors to be free on the streets to kill her. And it's a shame that now that same sort of mindset has now led to his death. Now, of course, I'm kind of just speaking just in general here, just off the cuff. There's probably going to be more information and more data and more information that's coming out. But every one of my fellow conservative commentators are now all live right now across the net, across YouTube. And Michael Knowles, for example, we got Timcast, and then, of course, we have just the Sky News and other news agencies throughout the United States. It's absolutely extraordinary what's happening right now. And then we have here the latest here from Fox. We'll just listen to a little bit of this.
Know yet what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially his wife, Erica, and their 2 young children. So obviously that coming in from Barack Obama, the former president, here on Live Now from Fox, as we're hearing from different members of the cabinet, from President Trump himself, who confirmed the news. That was the initial report coming out. And Charlie Kirk, a former close ally now of the president and a conservative commentator, losing his life, speaking out. And we heard different reporting there from on the ground talking about this turning point, showcasing a statement right now saying it's with a heavy heart that we confirm James Charles Kirk has been murdered by a gunshot that took place during Turning Point USA's The American Comeback Tour campus event at Utah Valley University on September the 10th, 2025. May he be received into the merciful arms of our loving Savior who suffered and died for Christ, for Charlie. We ask that everyone keep his family and loved ones in your prayers. We ask that you please respect their privacy and dignity during this time. And this is a live picture at the headquarters of Turning Point USA in Phoenix, Arizona. And Charlie Kirk has been on campuses far and wide.
Oh, wow. And he has, and he's been touring. And I just saw him talking to Frank Turek. Frank Turek is one of my favorite Christian apologists who also does campus tours and covers these things. And they were just talking about his safety just the other day. And here we have from WFAA News, Charlie Kirk shooting suspect still at large, what we know. So the shooter is still at large as of this time. As of this recording, it is 5:51 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So video posted to social media showed Kirk speaking into a handheld microphone at Utah University when a single shot rings out. Of course, we knew this. So officials now say the suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk is not in custody, despite earlier statements by university officials that someone had been arrested. President Donald Trump confirmed that Kirk, 31, died after the shooting Wednesday. I didn't go to True Social there so we can see if that's what it is. And here it is right here, as we can see. And the person taken into custody after Kirk was shot at Utah Valley University is not believed to be the shooting suspect, an Associated Press said. It's not yet known who the suspect shooter was as of Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's got to be local time wherever this news station is coming out of. I don't know I don't know what news station this is. I know it's WFAA. I don't know where they are. Utah Valley University spokesman Scott Trotter released a statement to multiple media outlets saying the suspect is not yet in custody. The mayor of Orem, Utah, David Young, says the shooting suspect remains at large. However, authorities are not telling people to shelter in place. This is extraordinary. On September 10th, 2025, at 12:20, a single shot rang out in the quad near the food court on the Utah Valley University Orem campus as Mr. Charlie Kirk began speaking at his planned rally. We can confirm that Mr. Kirk was shot, but we don't know his condition. Now, of course, this is now we do know his condition because he has now passed away. But, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news here. Very tragic, very sad, very upsetting for all of us who are Charlie supporters, Charlie fans. He does beautiful, wonderful work on these campuses. He's very popular, as I said, even among Democrats and even individuals on the left. It is a tragic, tragic day. I welcome your thoughts, your comments down in the comments section. Where did you hear about it? When did you hear about it? What are your thoughts on Charlie? Do you have any opinions or thoughts on Charlie? Do you watch him regularly on his podcast, or do you stay in tune for Turning Point USA, which is always popular among many people? I think they did a wonderful picture here from CNN, so good work on CNN for showing this amazing picture of Charlie here as he was throwing out hats as he was there at the university. So, of course, now this is all breaking right now. I'll put this out as soon as I can. But thank you guys so very much for your continued support now and supporting all of us as conservative commentators. Your likes, your shares, and your comments help out because, of course, there is a culture war happening right now. And I'm very, very angered by this each day when I see the level of rhetoric that is constantly being thrown at Donald Trump. And it's one thing if you want to criticize the president, but stay on topic. This continuing demonization, character assassination, and all these sorts of things, especially for supporters as well, is what stirs up this. It stirs up these people. It gives them the sense that they can go out and do these sorts of things because if they feel they're supported by all these people who hate Trump and hate conservatives, of course they're going to go out and try to do something like this because they're going to think that, that they're the ones that are righteous and they're doing all these people a favor and earning points for Team Left, which is the same argument that could be made in Butler, Pennsylvania. They're all doing this for Team Left. They do this all the time on social media. They try to outdo each other with what they're going to want to do, what they're going to do to Trump, what they're going to do to supporters, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The media is responsible partly for this type of rhetoric as well. Now, I don't know how far that's going to go, but nonetheless, guys, thank you for your support here on BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, and, of course, on Minds and all my other platforms. But more importantly, here on YouTube, as we get the message out each day on what's going on in our environment, what's going on, what the media is trying to frame, what they're trying to say, what narratives they are pushing. And that's what we cover here on the BuzWeaver channel. We take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the tumult, we take the confusion, and we try to break it down into very simple terms. But thank you guys so much for your continued support. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to, as well as my affiliate marketing. But to help out the channel, ladies and gentlemen, it is as simple as liking and sharing the content and commenting. But I want to thank all of you guys for your continued support. This will be an ongoing look into all this, but I wanted to break this to you guys. So appearing there on the screen, that's going to be the channel icon for everyone watching on YouTube specifically. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notification. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.